Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my first impressions of Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood. So, I saw the trailer for this and thought, like, this looks pretty cool. This looks pretty interesting. Um, the first episode apparently came out early on streaming services. Like, it came out on March 31st, but it wasn't set to air on television, I guess, until the 7th. So, I don't know what the deal with that is, why they did that, but whatever. So I've decided, just kind of on spur of the moment, I did check it out. Let's do a first impressions of it. Um, so like I said, I saw the trailer kind of randomly, I think on Twitter, maybe, and I thought looking at this, like, this looks pretty interesting. It looks like this kind of like maybe interesting, like kind of demon Slayer kind of thing. Not to be confused with the anime Demon Slayer, but you know what I mean. It looked like there's this woman who could use some kind of power that, like, these flames appeared around her, and she like had like this half skull face and shit, and she was fighting like these monsters or demons or something from the trailer. Um, I watched the episode and it's not quite like that. The first episode is honestly not that interesting. It's kind of boring, kind of just dumb, and not really that well done in my opinion. I actually have to look up the names here just to remember what any of the characters are called. Um, Apparently, the main character is Sawa Yukimura. She's a bookstore owner who secretly works for a government organization called Nue, and they eliminate basically these monsters. Um, she comes across as kind of cold and emotionless most of the time, and it kind of hints that there's something more to her and a reason behind that, but it really doesn't come across as anything new or interesting or anything particularly special. Like, you've seen these kind of characters before. She has this girl she lives with who's not actually her sister, but they kind of like pretend that she is. And I don't know, like, early on in the episode, it seems like they get along well, but at the end of the episode, it's kind of called into question. I'm like, what is the relationship here? What's going on? Um, and then there's a couple other people who like work for this New Way group who, again, don't seem like too much. um, there's this one guy who just, I don't even know how to describe his personality. He's kind of sassy, I guess. But other than that, I wouldn't really remember much of anything about him. And then there's this other woman who apparently hates Yukimura. And she's apparently a sex worker, and everything. I guess it doesn't go into too much detail. Um, but basically, from what I gathered, it takes place in kind of like this alternate reality world too, like where like the government of Japan hadn't changed when it was supposed to, and things just kind of spiraled because of it. And there's this weird blending of technology and like classic, like old style Japanese architecture and stuff. And it's like I think it takes place in like an earlier time period, like, I don't know, like maybe the 20s or something. But at the same time, again, there's like this high tech stuff almost. It just seems like it's kind of like this weird blend that occurred, and it's like there's been multiple other shows or whatnot that have had like this kind of alternate timeline kind of thing where things kind of went out of control because of that idea. But it's just really like confusing and like what it's trying to express with that. The music, the voice acting, the art and animation is all fine. The art and animation is definitely the best aspect of it, especially during the action scenes. Like when you see Yukimura use that power to kind of like have the half skull face and shit. It's like that. The animation on that is great, but it's like at the same time, everything else is good, but just kind of good. And again, the biggest problem is that otherwise it's just really boring, and it didn't really do anything to hook me in. And it's sad because this was actually something I was looking forward to. And in recent, in the past couple years, with the different seasons of anime and stuff, I haven't watched as much as I usually would. I've actually relaxed on how much I've watched, and I think it's mostly just because a lot of things have not interested me as much. And a lot of times, like, I check something out, like, well, after it's already come out or whatnot, and it's just. So this season, I was really hoping that the stuff I was watching was going to be good. And it's like, of course, we're going to have good stuff from Shaman King 2021 and My Hero Season 5, like, of course. But I was hoping that this would be another one that ended up being really good. Because aside from this, there's only one other series this season that I have any sort of interest in, Tokyo Revengers. And I'm so unsure on how I'm going to feel about it. I feel like I'm going to hate it, but I don't know for sure, so we're just going to have to find out when that comes out. But yeah, this one, Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood, I really wanted to like this. I really hoped to like this. It looked good from the trailer. It was super disappointing. It was extremely disappointing and just did not do much for me. And hell, maybe it ends up getting better. Maybe it does. Because, I mean, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out has gotten much better since the first episode. I actually started to really like it. Maybe this one will be another one like that, but right now I'm honestly not that sure, and I'm not super convinced I want to continue. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we'll continue putting up these um, first impressions reviews as I watch other stuff in the future. There's a playlist now. If you haven't seen it, I recently created a playlist for first impressions reviews. So you can check that out for all of my stuff. It's mostly been the recent stuff with like an exception from like 2018 that I happen to find on the channel. It's like, oh, this is a first impressions video too. Huh. It was actually like a combination of a bunch of different shows from a specific season of anime. But yeah, so I would suggest checking out the playlist if you have not seen all the first impressions reviews I've put up lately, or just wish to check out even that one from 2018. But yeah, either way, tell me your thoughts on the first episode of Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood, down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.